After the inevitable, the world kept ticking by, its degenerated remnants clamoring for anything that could keep them going for one more sunrise, to keep them from arriving at extinction or changing into something unrecognizable. Because much has changed in over 200 years. There's a lot of things you have to be willing to do that the old world couldn't have imagined. You are a wastelander, someone who scours the wrecks of the old world for valuables which you willed to become powerful. Or, if you fail, just another thing that is either devoured or changed. Change is inevitable, however. You have to change to take from the ghosts of the past, to take what is hidden, locked away, forbidden. Out among the wastes are others, some far more powerful than you, some who've waited a very long time to enact their plans. Some things have changed from what they originally were. Others cling to the vestiges of the old world. But the murder, the violence, the horror, the constant demand for deadly competition, if you want to live just a little longer, that doesn't change. War never changes. Hey everyone, it's Ross from Mythic Mountains Folk Tabletop Club. I don't have any notes in front of me. I just wanted to talk about this. My friends and I have started an adventure game in the same kind of way that we did Otherworld. Otherworld is our original Dungeons & Dragons living world. And if you ever see Swords and Wizardry actual play and it's done at Mythic Mountains and there's a recording of it, all of those exist in the same world. And it's all shared among multiple referees and, sometimes more than a dozen different players. So, and check that playlist out. It's been an amazing experience. And so I have really become interested in living worlds and adventure games and classic and vintage gaming and what's been lost. Well, for a long time, I have been wanting to do a game set in one of my favorite IPs. Is that the right intellectual property? A world? I don't know. I am obsessed with Fallout. I was one of the no mutants allowed forum message board type people back when I was in high school. I played Fallout 1, Fallout 2. I played Brotherhood of Steel Tactics. I played the janky Xbox port Brotherhood of Steel, everything from that to Fallout Shelter, Fallout 4. I love Fallout and even Wasteland, Wasteland 2, etc. I was especially in high school, I was obsessed with post-apocalyptic movies and Mad Max and stuff like that. It's worth noting we've done some post-apocalyptic content on the channel. We've done Mutant Crawl Classics, awesome game. We did the predecessor of both Mutant Crawl Classics and Gamma World, the OG Metamorphosis Alpha First Edition. That was amazing. But I really have a special place in my heart for Fallout. Now, if you know what this clubhouse is about, folk tabletop gaming, then that kind of presents an interesting, maybe a conundrum, because we're talking about a brand. If you don't know what folk RPGs are, I'll include a link to that in the description. What is a folk RPG? But in short, it doesn't mean that you can't enjoy brand things. But a brand cannot dictate to the table how the game should go. The table is the source of authority. The table is what decides what is best or the best way to play or what's fun or what's right and wrong. That's where the authority of the game arises in the magic circle between friends when they enter into this other world. And when I started trying to find a Fallout game, I kind of ran into some problems. First of all, let's start with like what exists and is popular. And I don't know what to call this, but it's like basically what has come from Metamorphosis Alpha and Gamma World. You've got Mutant Crawl Classics. You've got Mutant Future. We also did Mutant Year Zero. Hey, we've done some mutant games. We did another one. I can't remember the name of it. We did an indie one. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. Man, we've got our mutant stuff on. Okay. That stuff is fun, but it's not exactly Fallout. It's not A Boy and His Dog or Mad Max. Okay. What is that exactly? Well, 2021, Fallout comes out, the role-playing game. I'm going to do something here I don't usually do. I'm going to actually call it out by name, the brand. Here we are. Because this game highlights some of the issues which were peak in 2021. This is a peak 2021 game. And let me just show you to sum up the issue of 2021. Now, before I do this, you want to talk about safety tools and safety rules and stuff in the comments, go to town. I thought about, I actually am, I've spoken to one of the people in the tabletop world that helped pioneer safety tools before they became what they are now, which I would describe as unhealthy. And I thought maybe sometime I might post a blog about it and we might talk about it because there is something that can be mined there. And then there's something that is very anti-folk in character. And this is that. In fact, I wouldn't call this a safety tool, what I'm about to read. But we don't need safety rules. You might think there is nothing objectionable in your game, but the Fallout series has to do with a lot of difficult topics. Let's see if I can zoom in here. Whoops, no, it won't let me. Okay. Not just empty vaults and blah, 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 whatever. It has some platitudes there. It's got, descriptions of graphic violence common to the harsh world of the wasteland can also be unnecessarily upsetting for some people. Talking down to us. And the truth is, you don't know your players' inner lives. Half the time, your players may not know their reaction to something until it hits them. So, play on the side of caution. It's not the duty of your players to get over it for the sake of the game continuing. Remember, everyone sits at your table to have fun. And the amount of effort that is required to play safely is minimal and you can avoid your campaign ending badly. Now, let me emphasize. What I'm about to talk about is not about safety tools. If you use safety tools, awesome. I've been in games where they've been used. This is not what that's about. This book, and how ironic that Vault Boy is the one doing this. Vault-Tec, a story about a corporation that thinks it knows how to run your life better than you do. That's this book and these authors, someone who wrote this does not understand people. And they don't want to, and they don't need to, because they are a managerial type of person. Management. That's what they're interested in. Like human resources. This is anti-folk in character for a corporation to threaten the reader, the group, the game master, the table. Your campaign could end badly. Just do what we say. We know what's best. You don't know your friends. And it might be okay coming from a position of authority, right? If it's preposterous to even try to steel man this, but like if it was actually well-meaning, and they actually cared about your friends and they wanted you to be comfortable and have a good experience. But let's just look at what this book actually is. Brand identity, right here. How ironic that it has a section about how people identify with brands. And then let's take a quick tour here. And what you're going to find is step by step, word by word, concept by concept, picture by picture, art piece by art piece. This is the video game. This is Fallout 4. It's just Fallout 4. They have ported it to paper. They've taken the video game, crammed it into the paper, and used Modiphius' system for it, which I'm not even a fan of Modiphius' system. But if you want to use a workbench, it's going to go by weapons workbench, and it's going to work just like it does in Fallout, and it's going to have those components. If you want to have a certain type of weapon, well, you're only going to have the weapons that are in Fallout 4. They're only going to work that certain way. They're going to have these certain names. Do you notice something? Do you see what's going on here? These are all things that they can make money on. These are things that me showing this book right now, they could have this video taken down. If they wanted to. They'll probably never see it, but you know, hey, if they have this video taken down, okay. But they own this. And they want to own your table. And that's what this is. That's what this is about. That's what it's been about since 1979. And so, this is what this video is actually about. The table being in charge. This game is what the real Fallout RPG is. Atomic Punk 2040. Or, 2240, sorry. I'm mixed up. Atomic Punk 2240. This has the soul of Fallout. So I've read through the Modiphius Fallout. I wanted to run a Fallout game. I read through it, and I was just like, this is basically, it's like not even a game designer, but me, like took Fallout 4 and just ported the text over onto a page, and then took the Modiphius 2D20 system, which frankly I find clunky and complicated anyway. But that's it. It was in 2021, but it was like AI wrote it. And look, I like Fallout 4. Fallout 4 is a good game, to me anyway. But the soul of Fallout, right? Like Fallout 2 and Fallout 1 and New Vegas and stuff. Like if you're a fan, and you can see this, right? Like you can see how brands will want to erase the past. They'll want to not celebrate the predecessors and things. And why is that? Well, come on, why? Why is it that Games Workshop, when they come out with a new game, they try to change the names of everything and stuff like that? Because they want control of it and they want to monetize it. And so that Fallout role-playing game is just Fallout 4. And you probably could have come up with that on your own. But this guy is passionate about Fallout, the soul of it. You can see Fallout 1 in it. You can see Fallout 2, some New Vegas. You can see Wasteland. You can see the art. Obviously, the art he did here is sort of reminiscent of that original concept art from Fallout 1. Anyways, this is a game we're gonna showcase here on this channel, and we're gonna run it in the clubhouse and having an adventure game set up. This is, who really owns this mythology? Is it really Bethesda? Is it the company? Is it licensed to Modiphius? Or is it us? Is Fallout ours? I mean, really, as a mythology. And anyways, let's dig right into this thing and take a look here. So, Atomic Punk 2240. If you want to do a Fallout role-playing game, this is the game you should take a look at. It's done by the Basic Expert. He's a really talented artist. He's made really interesting role-playing games, and he's a game designer and a role-playing game designer that likes like me, experimentation and archaeology. He asks why. Why is this the way this is? And then and he doesn't accept, well, that's just how we do it. That's not good enough. And the rules are thoughtful, and actually you should actually do them. Like and this book is full of rules and full of unique things that like all these little things. Anyways, 2d10 system, very simple. Mostly works like an adventure game. It's like basic and expert Dungeons and Dragons. You maybe start in a settlement, you travel across the wasteland, you try to find a ruin, you try to get bottle caps and treasure, and then you try to make it back alive. Along the way, you're going to have wandering monsters in the wasteland. You could have wandering monsters in the ruin or in the bunker, which is a Vault-Tec vault, basically. And you're going to grow in power, and you're going to build up a settlement. It's got a lot of interesting modules here. Just to skip ahead a little bit, it's got that basic loop here that I'm describing. That's, time. Of course, you can't have a meaningful game if you're not measuring time. Time is how you're going to measure how factions move in the background, when wandering monsters come up. It's going to be affected by how much treasure they're carrying. This is the heart of the game. It's how it works. He took a fatigue system similar to modern Dungeons and Dragons. I actually think that is a great idea. It works perfectly, and we got to see this in the first session of play. It is so dire to have your fatigue increase during gameplay because of something you encounter, and then you're going to have to wrestle with food and water. Hey, they had that happen in the first session of play too. I looked around the table. I treat this like a real world. I read the rules as best I could. I read through them a few times, and I tried to apply the rules. And I said, who has water? Some people didn't. Well, you have fatigue, and it became a while they were it was a race against the clock to try to find treasure fast enough so they could afford food and water when they got back to the settlement. And it created all this tension. Meanwhile, I created a weather system, and they were trying to find shelter from that. It was harrowing, and it felt like playing Fallout 1 or Fallout 4 even, actually. I've had moments like that in Fallout 4 and all those games. It felt like Fallout. Getting lost, this is very much a BX thing. Here's the overland tables. These overland tables are brutal. You are not a superhero. You are a wastelander. And the first one I rolled up, which I'll roll up another one, they ended up bypassing it, but they encountered basically like 5, it says Chimera Hunters. Now, I'm going to skip ahead and talk about the monsters here. Let's look at this Chimera Hunter. Look at this nasty, okay? What is that? Obviously, that's a centaur, right? From Fallout, but disgusting, horrific mutant thing. Look at this, 7 hit dice. These folks have 1. They're level 1, and they're going to encounter 5 of these things on a random encounter while they're out exploring. You are meant to evade, outsmart, be clever. You have to problem solve. You have to work together. You are not a superhero. In the end, you either get the treasure or you don't. And it is harrowing. And then skipping ahead to the monsters. This is one of the best things in this book, and it nails Fallout. It gets it. And really, adventure games should be like this. This is also very much like classical Dungeons and Dragons. Every one of these monsters, you've got your stats, which he could have just stopped there. He could have just stopped there and said, yeah, this thing is a horrific monster. Here's its stats. And then almost every monster has some unique feature where he gives it an entire paragraph, 2, sometimes 3 of unique features and things it can do. It says that this one, as ambush hunters, they have the ability to crawl on walls and ceilings like insects. Ugh, frack, man. Gaining a +3 to rolls for stealth. Like, what a horrific thing. And then, all right, look at this. Let me go to the classic mole rat. Looks like he felt like mole rat wasn't something they'd sue over. Gosh, you never know. Companies, man, they might. We own the word mole and rat or whatever, you know. Well, anyways, he put giant mole rat here. And this nails it because of all these unique features. I'm going to do a couple of these just so you can see, because the monsters in this is a big part of what really makes this special and not just a BX clone. Really cool game, Mutant Future, right? It's like it's an old school Renaissance kind of, but more like a BX kind of clone instead of being like Gamma World. Very cool game. But this one is really flavorful, and it captures that atomic punk, that kind of like A Boy and His Dog and Mad Max, that kind of thing, that retro Americana futurism of Fallout. This captures it. Anyways, mole rats, surprise, golly, I remember in Fallout 3 and leaving Megaton, and there was those, and I was just like, and those things, golly, they were surprised me. It pop out of the ground. Fallout 4, they were really bad about that too. And then here's the other thing. There's a chance they'll give you a disease, a little callback to classic D&D there, but this happens too in Fallout, right? And so then it talks about the chances of the disease. This, by the way, loops into the design of the overall game with things like radiation, disease, fatigue levels, managing food and water, settlement stuff. All of this stuff all kind of feeds in together. We're talking about real game design here. We're not talking about almost like some AI generator porting over Fallout 4 onto a page. Yes, I'm going to kind of return to that a little bit, and really hammer home that this is the real Fallout game. But a couple more here. And by the way, while I bring this next one up, if you like the Fallout RPG, hey, I ain't trying to crap on your good time. And again, can you be a folk RPG gamer and enjoy brand stuff? Yes, you can. You can take anything you want from brands. You can take the parts you like. You can take the games you like, as long as the table's in charge. So if you like that game, I'm not trying to tell you that you're having bad, wrong fun or something. All right, hey, let's see here. I want to find this Feral Revenant. What is that? Obviously, this is a ghoul, right? But this stuff right here, there's a 1 in 6 chance that a Feral Revenant is glowing, emitting dangerous levels of radiation within 10 feet. Such revenants are worth 65 plus 2 XP. So it captures what? Classic D&D, where some monsters have that small 1 in 6 chance. Like rats, like giant rats have I think it's a 1 in 6 chance of having a disease. And other monsters have like these special features that give them flavor, that make them flavorful. It's also very much like Fallout, isn't it? And so this really captures the soul of that. Now, I'm going to skip around here and just mention a couple of other things that I've seen so far. This is just an impressions video, but as you can tell, I'm very enthusiastic about this game. Got a whole section on drugs. Now, very Fallout. It's also very Classic Traveler. Now, if you don't like the Classic Traveler combat system, I will say this is probably not your game. This game uses basically the Classic Traveler combat system, and that is charts. In my opinion, it is great. In fact, this is a serious game. It's crunchy. It's got tactics and rules, and it's very well considered. The math here, you can really, just like in Classic Traveler, you can stack up a lot of different bonuses if you think about what you're doing and you actually take the rules of the game and play it off the page. You can really win and lose in that way. Trying to knock someone into prone, trying to move them, what different weapons do, their effects. Let's see. You can, and it's even got some kind of later interpretations of Dungeons and Dragons rules, like the disengage, action, flanking, rear attacks. Like, this is a tactically crunchy game. It has a lot of options for you to do. And then kind of skipping back to the front part, just to show you how cool some of this stuff is. Instead of special, it uses atomic. Now, I will say the Fallout RPG, one advantage of it is it looked like a non-game designer or AI or something literally took the game off the screen and put it on paper. So you're going to use special and you're going to use perks and stuff like that. You're not going to use that here because, the basic expert doesn't own special. Bethesda does. So he calls it the atomic system. It works really well, at least in our experience so far. And then you're going to get these backgrounds. And I think this is a really elegant system. You're just going to add a bonus based on background skills. And then beyond that, you're going to have perks. It is so simple and elegant, but at the same time, he made the choice to use a 2D10 resolution system. And what that does is it creates a bell curve. And if you have a plus or minus 1 or 2 on a bell curve of 2D10, it will have a big impact. And so having it's kind of what's common in skill-based systems like Traveler. And it keeps all of this stuff really tight and it's not very cumbersome. And it's just perfect for capturing both Fallout and keeping it in an adventure game. So I would say that. Another thing about the Modiphius game, it is not an adventure game. Well, maybe you don't want an adventure game. Maybe you're fine with it being a role-playing game with tons and tons of mechanics like modern role-playing games do that are all character-facing. And they don't give tools to the game master, by whatever name the game master goes by. It doesn't give tools to convey the world as much. It just gives a ton of fluff, and it gives a ton of character features to the characters and the classes and says, good luck, game master, you better challenge them. And also let us preach at you about, who your friends are and what you ought to do and all that kind of stuff. You can play a robot. And I also wanted to so there's also, here we go, perks. And so you do get these tiny little micro feats that are Fallout perks, and they just nail it. It's the heart of Fallout that's broader than just like Fallout 4 and Fallout 76. I like both of those games, but this has a lot of stuff from others, from that entire kind of subgenre in it here. Is there anything else here? Oh yeah. A mini game for vehicle fighting, like Car Wars. Like, look at this. It's got like a little war game where you have, your maneuver and your angle and when you'll make turns and doing damage. And it's like a little Car Wars game inside of the game. And then in addition, another module that's really cool. This kind of reminded me of Mutineer Zero. It's also like Fallout 4, is that it has a module for settlements. And not just for the game master to construct settlements, but listen, we ran Mutineer Zero, which is kind of all about a settlement and then the drama that occurs in it that compels you to go out on adventures. And pretty complicated, feels very heavy on, that ludonarrative dissonance, that big difference between what's happening in the fiction versus these pluses and minuses on a sheet of paper that I'm trying to manage. This game is not like that. It's very simple, very diegetic. And it's clear that he was influenced by classic Traveler to me. In fact, the settlement construction system in some ways resembles the realism of constructing a starship in classic Traveler. He bases it on the caloric needs of the settlement, and then you add in components that will defend it. And then this is really cool. And I think this is something that should just the referee should always do. Is there is a chance at a settlement once per month that it'll get attacked. And that chance depends on, what, how well defended it is and this kind of stuff. So, and it has math to do. But this is all math done by the referee. And, it's just so cool. But look, the bottom line is, oh, and by the way, it has a micro setting with a little, I would call it like a point crawler, a little sandbox here. Got a little map, and it's got points of interest. Whoops, it slowed down on me. Points of interest, factions, and it's essentially Fallout. You have like, what is like the Institute, which is the syndicate, and then you have the guild, which is essentially the enclave, and you have a raider gang, basically. I'm just thrilled about this game. I wish I had started playing with it in 2021 when the game was needed. This is the post-apocalyptic game we were looking for. So, folks, I'm going to include links to this. He also has one of his zines is about this, where he expands on it, and he's got more options and things. But really, another thing that makes this a folk game is you're meant to take this and make this yours. And it is, and it's belonged by the table. I think that's really the spirit and heart of not just adventure games, but these games. So I'll include the links to this game on DriveThruRPG, to his website. And then next week, we will upload our first session of play, which I'm very excited about. It went, I really had a lot of fun. And you'll see at least 3 of those coming up in the next few weeks. So anyways, like, subscribe, and share. Thanks for joining us. I hope to hear from you. I'd like to hear your thoughts. If you've played Atomic Punk 2240, he also made an earlier version of the game that still has some interesting and useful tools in it, 21 something. If you've played the game, tell me about it. If you haven't, tell me what you think. If you've played the Fallout RPG, please tell me about it. I'd love to hear about it. The right way to play is decided by the table, y'all. And the right game and the right group of people. And listen, you know your friends better than a corporation does. And you can trust each other a lot more than you can trust these corporations. So game on, and we'll see you around. Attention, citizens. The following is an announcement from Vault-Tec Games Division. You have just heard an unapproved transmission from Mythic Mountains Folk Tabletop Club. They claim to be an online, international clubhouse that focuses on folk tabletop games. They claim that folk tabletop games are the games that belong to everyone, not a blog or brands or idealogues. Well, I don't know about you, boys and girls, but that sounds an awful lot like those nasty Reds. So don't listen to those people. Keep playing games made by companies you rely on, the way we know it's right for you to play. After all, we proud American gaming companies have steered you right so far. The music, artwork, and games shown in these videos are mentioned in the description and not owned by Mythic Mountains Folk Tabletop Club. And be careful, boys and girls. People in your neighborhood might be playing those folk tabletop role-playing games even now. Why, they may even invite you to join. Vault-Tec will be there at your game table.